All right, let's jump right in. Ever get that feeling like you're being, I don't know, followed around the internet?
You mean like when you're shopping online and then bam, those same shoes are popping up everywhere you look?
Exactly. That's retargeting in action. We actually had a listener send us some really cool info about it. And to be honest, before I really dug into this, I had this whole shadowy figures tracking my every move image in my head.
Yeah, I can see that.
But it's not really that creepy, is it?
Not at all. It's way less secretive and way more common. Think of it like retargeting is marketing second chance someone checks out your website, maybe browses a bit, but doesn't buy anything. Retargeting is just that little nudge that reminds them what they're missing.
So instead of that potential customer just disappearing into the internet abyss, retargeting is that lifeline pulling them back in.
That's a great way to put it, especially when you consider only 2% of people actually buy something on that first visit.
Seriously, only 2%.
It's true. That leaves a massive 98% of shoppers who are, still out there. Retargeting gives you another shot with those folks.
Okay, so I'm definitely starting to see the value here. But how does it actually work? Are we talking about those little cookie things that get stored on your computer?
You're on the right track. In the simplest terms, retargeting uses those cookies to keep track of what people are looking at online. So when someone visits your site, a little cookie remembers they were there. Then, when they're on other websites, your ads can reappear and remind them about your awesome products or services.
So it's not really that websites are like gossiping about me behind my back. It's more like my computer's leaving little breadcrumbs saying, hey, this person was checking this out.
Exactly. And the stats don't lie. People who see those retargeted ads are actually 70% more likely to become customers compared to someone who's never encountered your brand before.
70%. Now that's what I call an impact. Looks like retargeting is more than just throwing any old ad out there. It's about strategy and knowing what makes people tick. But before we get into the how-tos, let's break down the different types of retargeting because believe it or not, there's more than one way to reel those missed opportunities back in.
Oh, you're telling me. There are a few different approaches. Let's start with the most common. That's what we call pixel-based retargeting. It's the one we've been talking about so far, using cookies to track visits and show those, hey, remember us ads.
Pixel-based, got it. Now spill the beans on the rest of them. What other retargeting tricks do marketers have up their sleeves? All right, so we've covered pixel-based retargeting. What else is there?
So next up, we have list-based retargeting. This one's a bit more direct. Instead of using cookies, we're using your existing data, like email lists, to reach people who've already interacted with your brand before. Think like newsletters you signed up for, or those loyalty programs.
So this time you are reaching out to people who are already familiar with the brand. It's like a friendly reminder, not some random ad.
Exactly. And with list-based retargeting, you can segment those lists to make those messages even more effective. Let's say you have an online clothing store. You could segment your email list based on past purchases and then show ads for similar styles or new arrivals.
Makes sense. Giving the people what they want. No more throwing ads into the void and hoping for the best. Now I have to ask about search retargeting. That sounds kind of sci-fi, to be honest.
It is a powerful one. Just imagine you're looking for noise-canceling headphones. You browse around, check different websites, maybe read some reviews, compare prices, doing your research. Search retargeting lets companies who sell those headphones show you their ads, even if you've never visited their website directly.
Hold on, wait. So even if I haven't specifically looked at their headphones, they can still target me just because of my search terms? That's pretty impressive.
That's the thing with marketing technology these days. It's all about connecting the dots. And then last but not least, we have social media retargeting. It's everywhere these days. Platforms like Facebook and Instagram let you target users based on what they do on social media. Did they like a post, watch a video, you name it.
Whoa, so liking a post is enough to get me on someone's radar. Seems like online shopping and social media are getting closer and closer every day.
It really is all about creating a smooth experience across the board. For marketers, it's all about connecting with people on a more personal level.
That sounds like a lot to keep track of. Pixel-based, list-based, search, social media. Do you need like a special degree for all this?
I know it seems like a lot to take in, but setting up a retargeting campaign is not rocket science. You need to know the basics and then choose the approach that works best for you and your goals.
So where do you even begin? Our listener sent us a pretty detailed guide on setting up a retargeting campaign, but I don't want to bore everyone with the technical stuff. Can you break it down for us?
Of course. First, you need to decide which platform you'll be using. Most people go for Google Ads and Facebook ads, but there are others that are designed for specific things. Once you've got that figured out, you're going to install what's called a pixel on your website.
Wait a sec, a pixel, is that like a tiny camera tracking everything on my website? Just kidding.
Thankfully not. It's basically a bit of code that keeps tabs on what people are doing on your site, which pages they visit, things they add to their shopping cart, even if they make a purchase or not. And it's what lets you use those actions later to target them with your ads. And don't worry, most platforms make it really easy to install with step-by-step instructions or even plugins.
Okay, so the pixel is in place. What's next?
Now comes the fun part, segmenting your audience. Remember how we talked about list-based retargeting and how you can target specific groups of people? Same idea here.
So you're dividing your potential customers into different groups based on how they behave online, right? Like, did they look at certain products? Did they almost buy something but change their mind? Or did they spend a long time on a specific page?
Exactly. The more specific your segments are, the better your ads will be. I mean, think about it. Would you rather see an ad for those shoes you were eyeing but didn't buy, or just some random ad for a shoe store?
Definitely the shoes. Seems like showing the right message to the right people at the right time is crucial here.
You got it. And while we're at it, let's talk about the ads themselves for a sec. You can have the most advanced targeting in the world, but if your ad is boring, generic, or annoying, people just won't care.
True that. No one wants to see the same boring ad again and again.
Exactly. Your ad should be eye-catching, tell people what's in it for them, and make them want to click, not hide from them.
It's all about finding the right balance. Wow, we've covered a lot. Platforms, pixels, segments, making the ads themselves, my head is spinning.
You don't have to become a marketing expert overnight. Just start small, maybe try one platform, and then gradually do more as you get the hang of it.
Great advice. Now, before we let you go, I know our listeners are dying to know the secrets, those best practices that separate the good from the great retargeting campaigns. Hit us with your best shot.
Well, first things first, don't be that brand that follows people around relentlessly with the same ad.
Oh, tell me about it. I've been there like, I'll be looking at a lamp and then bam, it's everywhere I go online. Makes you not even want to buy a lamp anymore.
And that's exactly what you want to avoid. It's about finding that sweet spot between staying top of mind and being a total nuisance. That's where something called frequency capping comes in. You can actually set limits on how often someone sees your ad so you're not bombarding them.
Frequency capping. Got it. Okay, what else?
Dynamic ads are another game changer. Remember how we talked about personalizing your message for different groups? Well, dynamic ads take it a step further. They can actually change based on what the person was looking at before.
Okay, so like if I was browsing hiking boots, the ad would show me hiking boots from that brand, not just their homepage or something.
Exactly. It's all about making the experience as relevant as possible. And speaking of personalization, those segments we talked about earlier, super important. Make sure you tailor your ads for each group's interests. I mean, someone checking out your blog is probably not ready to buy the same way someone who abandoned their cart is, right?
Right. Meet people where they are. Don't assume everyone is ready to buy this very second.
Exactly. And one more thing, since we are talking about making the experience good, mobile optimization is key. People are on their phones all the time these days, so make sure those ads look good and work well on smaller screens too.
Ugh, yes. Nothing worse than a clunky ad that doesn't even work right on your phone.
Don't let a bad mobile experience scare people away. And finally, before you launch anything, make sure you know what you're trying to achieve, right? Do you want more sales? Are you trying to get your name out there? Are you looking for leads? Having clear goals helps you track your progress.
Measurement is key. Now, for the flip side, what are some big retargeting no-nos that people should avoid?
Oh, we already touched on a few of them, like don't go crazy with the frequency, always optimize for mobile, and remember those segments. But one thing I see a lot is people neglecting the ad itself.
Ugh, yes, I have seen some terrible retargeting ads. You know, the ones that make you want to close your laptop and never open it again.
It happens. But your ads represent your brand, so put some effort into them. Invest in some good design, make sure your message is on point. Remember, you are competing for attention out there.
So true. Now, before we wrap up this retargeting deep dive, we have to talk about data privacy. It's a big deal these days, and for good reason. People want to know what's happening with their information online. So how can our listeners use retargeting responsibly, ethically even?
That's something every marketer should be thinking about. Transparency is key here. Be upfront about what data you are using and how you are using it. Don't hide behind some long, confusing privacy policy.
Yeah, nobody has time to read a 20-page document.
Exactly. Just be clear and direct about what you are doing, and, most importantly, give people a choice. Let them opt out easily if they don't want to see those ads.
So if someone doesn't want to see those retargeting ads, they should be able to easily tap out, no pressure.
Absolutely. Make it easy for them. It builds trust. And of course, make sure you're following all the rules and regulations about data privacy like GDPR and CCPA, all that good stuff. Those rules are there for a reason. It's not just about ethics. It's about running a responsible business.
Well said. Wow, we covered a ton of ground today. Everything from the technical bits and bobs of setting up a campaign to best practices, designing eye-catching ads, and even the ethical use of data. So as we wrap our retargeting deep dive, what are the key takeaways you want our listeners to remember?
Just remember, retargeting is a really powerful tool, but it's only one part of a bigger marketing strategy. Use it wisely to enhance all your other efforts. Make sure you create an experience your audience actually enjoys. And of course, always respect your customers' privacy.
Music to my ears. Well, on that note, it's time for us to say goodbye. But don't forget to subscribe to The Deep Dive for even more exciting explorations into the world of marketing. I'm host's name.
And I'm expert's name.
Helping you navigate the ever-changing world of information, one deep dive at a time. If you have a question or maybe a topic you'd love for us to tackle, drop us a line on our website. We'll see you in the next one. Stay curious.